Just how vulnerable is your privacy, especially as it relates to your crypto? If you're using one of the mainstream carriers like AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, the truth might frighten you. But we aren't here to scare you without providing a solution. Today, we welcome Mark Kreitzman from Efani to the show to discuss how you can secure your cell phone and your crypto easily with one little switch. You're going to want to pay really close attention to this discussion, as you don't want to wake up one day and discover your cryptos have disappeared overnight. Breathe easy and know that help is on the way on this episode of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
And everybody's running and hiding under their bed because the crypto thief boogeyman is coming to take all your cryptos. It's okay, guys. Come on out. This is the Bad Crypto Podcast, and we are the harbinger of good news. Wait, can a harbinger be good, Trev? Or can it only be
A
bad?
harbinger?
A harbinger.
Ooh, I don't know.
Not a Harvey
I'm
Wallman.
not sure. That's a really good word, though. That's a $5 word you just used there.
Dude, I don't know how I
Can you
got
be
on
a
this.
harbinger of truth?
This just came to mind. Do you like whiskey?
I'll drink whiskey sometimes.
So, you remember,
I would
Sean.
prefer cognac. If I'm gonna drink something, I like to drink in a bottle, keeping it in the freezer, because it stays nice and cold, is Remy Martin 1738. That tastes so amazing when you pouring it into like a little brandy snifter, dude. It is so good.
So, my buddy Sean that lives on the island, he introduced me to Screwball peanut butter whiskey, which tastes really good. And I'm not a huge whiskey fan, but I like this stuff. And while here in Florida, my buddy Bob pulled out Dough Ball whiskey, and it is basically cookie dough whiskey. This stuff,
What?
it's amazing. It's called Dough Ball. See if you can find it at liquor store. It goes down so smooth. You know how when you drink whiskey, you always have that Clint Eastwood little,
Yeah.
where you grim it. Not at all. You like drinking. Well, oh my gosh, it tastes like cookie dough. It's called Dough Ball, and it's
Dough ball.
yeah, and it tastes like
Not like Homer Simpson. No balls.
it really tastes
See if I
like
can find it.
yeah. This is the bottle right here.
So a harbinger, back to that, is a forerunner, someone who warns ahead, someone that announces or shows what's good. So it's kind of like a futurist.
Yeah. So, hey, we got good news for you guys. I mean, the bad news is if you're with a carrier, a mainstream carrier, your crypto is not as safe as you think. There are so many different ways that you can lose it, and it happens every day. The good news is we've got someone here today to discuss a better solution. It's one that I've switched to. I think, Travis, you're in the midst. By the time this episode's released, you probably will have switched or put it on the phone.
Well, that's the whole
holds your
thing. Remember,
crypto.
you guys have listened, you guys have tuned into Bad Crypto for years and years and years and years and years. Then back in 2017, you know that I got SIM card swapped.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been hearing the pre-rolls on some of these on the podcast here, we're talking about that. This right here is the meat and potatoes of why you need to look into. If you have six figures in crypto,
If
or
you
if
have
you have
five
six
figures,
figures,
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
If you don't want to
true.
lose any of your crypto, there's no
True.
reason not to do this. Why do you got to have
Well, I
six?
think if you have multiple accounts, if you have multiple people on your account, it could be a little costly. It's not so bad, but I think individually,
It's like $10 more per person. It's insignificant. Don't listen to Travis. You need
I'm
to,
in it. I'm on.
yeah, you need to do this. Let's listen to this interview with Mark, and you guys decide for yourself. We'll see you on the other side. It's been at least a couple of years, Sir Lord Travis, since we had the founder of Efani.com, Hasiba Wan on the show to talk about the dangers of SIM swaps and people losing access to their information, their accounts, their crypto. Very, very scary. And since that time, hackers have stepped up their game, and it's more dangerous than ever out there. And you guys really want to listen in today as we are joined by the Chief Revenue Officer of Efani, Mr. Mark Kreitzman. Good sir, welcome to the Republic of Bad Cryptopia. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I was looking forward to this. So,
well, I
let's go
hope when
for
we're
it.
done, you will not be too disappointed, just mildly, somewhat disappointed.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where Bitcoin is, by the end of the
That's
interview. And then,
Travis. We are the CDOs of our company, the Chief Disappointment Officers.
I was going to say we're going to timestamp this here a little bit. So it's coming out a little bit later because we got some travels going on. So right now, the crypto market, oh my God, Bitcoin just hit $120,000. You guys, amazing. Oh man, Bitcoin's at 42,000 now. This is unfortunate.
Yeah, we can timestamp this. This interview is being recorded a couple months before it's actually being released. It is August 7th, 2024, and we just went through a massive crypto crash. Bitcoin's recovered to around 56, 57. So when this comes out, let's see what the future has to say about 2 months ago. But we are here, and it is today as far as we are concerned, Mark. So maybe give us a real short bio of yourself, how you came to be with Efani, what your background is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark Kreitzman, I've been in cybersecurity before it was called cybersecurity. I joined somewhere around, I think, the year 1999, 2000. And I went from the stable company of AT&T to a company called Big Fish, which we then renamed it to FrontBridge. And so I've worked for a couple founders over the last 20 years. One of those was a cloud email security solution that was acquired by Microsoft. Another one was a web security solution acquired by Cisco Systems. But pretty much my career is based in cybersecurity. In the last 7 or 8 years, going on 9 probably at this point, has been dedicated to mobile security. And the reason that I got into Efani, the reason Efani actually was started is because in 2018, I had been in crypto for about 1.5 years, 2 years at that point. And I had been on a couple YouTube interviews, and I was partnering with another friend of mine out of Phoenix to be startup consultants for blockchain and crypto companies. And I just happened to get SIM swapped in the middle of this project that we were working on. And so I got caught in the middle of the desert, right between Phoenix and Arizona. My mobile account just got pulled from my phone, and I'm out in the desert. I'm by myself. There's no Walmarts out there. There was no gas stations within, 20, 30 minutes. And so I had to make the choice. Do I drive to a Walmart, beg to use somebody's phone to call my carrier, or do I just drive 45 minutes to my father's house? So I chose to drive to his house. And then when I got to the garage, the Wi-Fi kicked in and 6 password resets went up my phone. And so at that time, I ended up losing 2 Bitcoin at that time. And they got into a bank account, they got into an email account, 2 different cloud accounts, and a second bank account. But fortunately, I didn't have enough. I didn't have any in the second bank account. And so that's one reason that it's like painful for me to even kind of remind myself, because now I have to think about what those 2 Bitcoins would be worth today. So I researched. It was painful for me for about 90 days. I didn't sleep. I researched. I figured somebody had to solve this, because this is my business. I've been doing cybersecurity for 19 years. And Hasib was the only person on the planet that claimed that he could prevent SIM swaps. And it turned out he was into crypto. And so we kind of hit it off. And I said, look, I've been doing cybersecurity startups for 19 years, and I want to help you take it to market. So it was the 2 of us. And the first thing we did was we renamed the company to Efani. And then so now we're going up on nearly a 5-year anniversary of being under the Efani brand and growing. And for a while, it was just 2 of us doing 7x24, not knowing if this was going to be a business or not. And then Ledger got hacked. And then all of a sudden, that's when we started to take off. And so it's been
You
trying
didn't
to
do
turn.
it, did you? You guys didn't hack Ledger to
We
make
know we
the
did
company
not.
take off.
I
Just
wish I
checking.
was smart. Yeah. I wish I was smart enough to be able to do it. But that was kind of like when things got going for us, and happened to be, have the right product at the right time. And so it's been a joyride trying to turn tragedy into something that, has a lot of value today. And we're pretty proud of that. So it's more than just a business. It's a passion project as well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So it looks like we interviewed Hasib on March 18th, 2022. And so it's been a little over 2 years ago. We chatted with him, and we've been chatting with him a long time before that. Actually, we interviewed him at my home in Puerto Rico, if I recall. I remember
Okay.
he came and we sat out there, and then my dog got out, and we had to chase my dog down for a while because every time that door was open, she ran away. And so I'm pretty sure that was him that we interviewed him there. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how so a similar story happened to me. I woke up one morning. Actually, I went to bed one night. My phone wasn't working. I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Woke up the next day, and I was like, "Wait a second, I don't have any connection here. This is weird." And then I got a text from T-Mobile that said, "Hey, this is Leslie at T-Mobile. Thanks for chatting with us today." And I was like, "I didn't talk to him."
Yeah.
I was like, immediately I went, "This was 2017." I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, I just been SIM swapped, I bet." So I went down and got on my computer and had to call them with Skype. Had to call T-Mobile, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And they had to verify it with my daughter's phone or my son's phone or something. So and what was funny was I had some friends on the dark web, and they were able to track this dude down. And then he logged into my phone on his iPhone, so I saw exactly where he was at. He was in Worth, Illinois. And then we
Oh,
figured out he went to school at the Worth College there, which taught cybersecurity. And I figured out exactly who this dude was. And then because then he had took over my Twitter, he got my Gmail, he was posting photos. He he was posting some nudes from this chick that was in my Google Photos, and he was posting them on my Twitter. Made my Twitter bio a picture of this chick's vagina. It was crazy. And I was like, "Hey, pardon me while I fix all this. That's not my vagina. I have a
yeah.
and so we're going through the process, and then I figured out who he was. We found his Instagram, found him and his girlfriend kissing on her Instagram, and then I started once I got my Twitter back, I started posting pictures of him and his girlfriend, and he messaged me back. He goes, "Hey man, I'm sorry, dude. I was just trying to steal your crypto." I was like, "Oh, well, that's okay." And so, anyways, he got busted. He got the Fed came after him. They finally figured out who he was, and he didn't get any crypto from me because I had some stuff locked down, and I didn't keep a lot of that on my. I had different stuff set up, and so tried to be secure as possible. But could have been tragic, right? And for folks like
Oh,
yourself,
yeah.
it was.
I hear these stories all the time. So I'm kind of this cyber nerd at Efani.
Yeah.
And so when somebody calls in and they've been a victim, it'll end up getting to me because, for one, I want to know how they did it,
Mm-hmm.
and what method, and we're always looking to see if there's like new ways and tactics they're using. And so I mean, my story was bad, but I've heard stories that are just kind of crazy about how they did it, what they did with it. I mean, there's one, for one, you remember when the Bitcoin ETF announcement was early?
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually a number swap. So somebody stole a number from somebody at the SEC, stole their X account, and then published that early announcement of the Bitcoin
Did it go out
ETF.
on Gensler's account or something? Like something weird happened. It was some official
So
account.
whoever managed that account got SIM swapped, because that number was protecting that account. And so imagine the tens of millions of dollars made and lost on that announcement. There's another guy that I can't give details on him, but he was a co-founder of a crypto company. He gets SIM swapped, and the way he gets SIM swapped is because he was still on his father's family plan. So somebody impersonates his father, goes into a store and buys a phone and a new line off of his father's account, and then goes home with this phone that's in the family account, calls up the carrier and says, "Oh, I bought a new phone today. and I'm calling from my new line, and I want to switch this new line with my old line, which happened to be the son, the co-founder of this company. They use that to steal his X.com account, and it's a crypto company. And then they announce they're dropping a new token, and put a token up for sale. Yeah, so all these followers are buying this token that doesn't exist. And so yeah, there's all kinds of, it doesn't have to be about like just stealing your Bitcoin or your crypto away. It can be about stealing your social media. I've had conversations with people around blackmail, about how they use it to get into their account and got into their iCloud, their photos and all that, and then trying to blackmail them. And
I had something happen just a few weeks ago while I was traveling, and I'm pretty savvy with the stuff. I may have lost small amounts of crypto just being careless. I did lose an NFT that was worth a couple $100, and fortunately saw my ledger shooting off a bunch of requests. I'm like, no to all, so I saw
yeah,
that, but I was traveling and I was jet lagged, and I'm on a train at the airport, and the phone is ringing, and it says it's coming from Google, wherever their headquarters is, Mountain Home or wherever in California, right? And it looked legit. And it's not the first time I've gotten a call from them, but I was like, I'm on this train, I'm tired. I picked it up. I'm like, what? And they're like, we're seeing, evidence of security breach on your account. Do you have access to your account? Blah, 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 blah. And then they went to reset my password, and asked me to go into my Google app and, press 39 or whatever it was, which would then release it to them. And I'm so tired and jet lagged in that moment, I almost pushed the damn button. And then
yeah.
he's like, you push it? I go, no. And I hung up on him. In that moment, if I had pushed the button and fell for it in that moment, I don't know what I would have lost, because there was so much private access, a personal data in there, in that email attached to that phone number of that email. It could have been disastrous. And here I am in Europe, jet lagged on a train. And I'm thinking to myself, you were this close to being that guy. And so
Oh, yeah.
now my antenna, this is after 7 years of doing this and 30 years of being an online marketer, digital marketer. You would think that would be the first thing that would go off, but they
Well,
are
good
getting
job though. You
super.
didn't get got, but you almost got. Joel almost
I
got.
almost got. They're getting super
Yeah.
clever. So there's
Okay.
the question in that for you is, maybe let's rewind, go back to the basics. How exactly does somebody swap somebody's SIM?
Yeah. So I think to understand an illegal attack, it's good to understand what the legal SIM swap is, and so everybody knows like what's actually happening. So let's say you have an iPhone 12 today, and you go to the Apple Store and you buy an iPhone 15, and then you tell the person at the store that's helping you, can you please move my mobile number from my iPhone 12 over to my new phone? And so of course they do that. They get that done. That is a SIM swap, also known as a port over. And so that's a legal port over, because obviously you're the one requesting it and you own the device. Now, what happens for an illegal SIM swap when they're trying to attack you is the exact same thing, except that they're trying to move it from your iPhone 12 or whatever you have to the phone that's in their hand. Now, they could be your next door neighbor. They could live underneath you, but they could also live 4,000, 5,000 miles away, or they could even be like in the UK, for example. And there's been a number of UK people that have been busted SIM swapping people in the US. People all over the world. I shouldn't pick on the UK, but there's people all over the world that are SIM swapping people in the US. And so the way they're doing it is a couple different ways. One is that you can do it through social engineering. So I find out all the information I can about you, Joel, and I get that information through all these data breaches that have been happening over the last 10 years. And everything I can get from like these data brokers online, where I can buy your data or see what information is about you on the dark web. And it's very easy to find out like what carrier you use and things like that. So I'm going to call them up and pretend to be you, and say like, oh, I lost my phone. It's an emergency. I'm going to catch a flight here in like the next 45 minutes. I got this other phone. Could you please port my number over to this other phone? And so all they have to do is have enough information on you to convince that 800 customer support person that I am you, and they're going to port it over. But I can also bribe an employee. I can also buy information, like your verification information, from somebody. So imagine, you call the 800 number of your carrier, and you happen to get an agent who's actually recording all those conversations. And then they go home and then they, write it all out, put it in a spreadsheet, and then sell that to hackers. And so in that case, I could get your verification information and then legitimately call them up, and I already have the answers. Or it could be an insider. So a lot of these deals are insiders that work for a phone store, work for a third-party phone store. There's independent retailers, and of course, there could be an employee at the call center, that are helping outsiders. And so those are the main ways. And you can find, you can Google search like SIM swap bribes, and you'll see people have been arrested all over the U.S. and that they've been paid anywhere from $100, $3,000, $5,000 in order to execute a SIM swap for somebody. And so it's just a really easy thing to do. And if to give you an example of how easy it is, two of the biggest SIM swaps have been done by a kid who was 15, 16 years old. And he stole from two different people. He stole a total of around 26 million. And the only reason he got busted is because he was hanging out with an older friend of his who was sort of a troublemaker, and of course he's spending too much money, and he ended up getting busted. But there's all kinds of videos of these SIM swappers getting busted, stealing millions of dollars.
I feel a song coming on, Joel. I feel a Suno song.
Oh, a little AI
About
creation.
The Sim Swap Blues is being generated right now. And we'll have this available at the end of the show. But I'm curious now. Let's say you're a boomer and you've invested, you got yourself, a few $1 million in E-Trade or whatever, and somebody does a SIM card swap. Is it easy to get into their online trading accounts too? Are those vulnerable?
It really depends on how secure they've made their account. So most people in general just are using SMS verification. And so, SMS verification, it's almost riskier than if you just didn't use any, but you're required to put verification on there, the 2FA. And so if like your bank account is just set up to do an SMS verification, then it's as simple as just stealing your mobile account away. And there are search tools I can use on you. And what it'll do is it'll find all the emails associated with you, because there's been so many data breaches. Somebody just released, there's a file called Rocky 2024 that was released, I think, July 23rd. And it had 10 billion rows of passwords in it. And so there's email IDs in there. So if I can SIM swap you, I most likely probably already have a list of your email IDs. So now I'm going to go to all of your accounts, or the top 20 banks, top 20 crypto wallets and exchanges, and put your email IDs in there and say forgot password, and try and get it to send me a text, because now I have your mobile account.
Which at the very least, this is why 2FA is, a line of defense.
It's a line of a defense, but it can be used against you if somebody can steal your mobile account away.
Who's the most vulnerable here? Are we talking all of the carriers? All of the majors are equally or who's the worst from the data?
That's a great question. And there's actually a study done by Princeton, and you can Google SIM swap study by Princeton. And so what Princeton did is they did a study on the top 5 carriers in the US, and they SIM swapped. They were successful over 79% of the time, actually SIM swapping the numbers.
Whoa. 70. What was that percentage you say?
79 point some percent. Like the article title says 80% of the time, but if you read the article,
you're gonna get scammed.
And in that study, for the numbers they didn't SIM swap, they got like the start date, they got birthday information. So had they kept attempting to do it, they would have probably would have been even higher. And so they had a start and an end date to this study. So if they had kept going, because if you think about the SIM swap, is there's really no penalty for me attempting to SIM swap you. So let's say I want to try and attack you, Travis. So I'm going to go into one store and I'm going to try and buy a phone and a line off your account. And a lot of people don't realize, your carrier has your social security number for a reason. So you basically have credit set up there. So now if I can convince somebody, or let's say I have a buddy that works at a third-party phone store, he's going to fake verify me as you. I'm going to go in there with, your glasses and hat, dressed like you, and he's going to fake verify me. So he's covered because he's on the camera's got him, and he's totally covered. But let's say, I don't have somebody to help me, but I go into one store and they're like, oh, we can't verify you. So I'm like, okay, great. So I leave, I go to another store. And every time I learn, I go to another store and say, I'm Travis and I want to buy a phone and a line. And I could do that all day long and nobody's ever going to penalize me for it.
I got to tell you, Mark, that person's got a lot of patience because every time I have to go into one of those stores, it takes forever. This person got a lot of time on their hands and they want to do all that shit.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy. Like the last couple of phone stores I've been in, I've actually kind of walked out because it's like, it's to the point now where you got to take a number or something and some of them wait for them. But
So
there's just,
how do you do it differently? Like I get it, but explain it to our listeners. I'll let this be the commercial part of the show when we're not being paid for this, but we're customers and believe in the service and want our listeners and everybody out there to protect their privacy, their data, and especially their cryptos.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just before I talk about that, just to let everybody know that even if you use an authenticator app, you still have to be careful because if somebody SIM swaps you and they can get into your emails, then they could potentially reset your authenticator app. And so a lot of the victims that call us and say, hey, I wish I knew about you guys beforehand. I announced on Twitter that I got SIM swapped and 8 people told me to get Efani. Just to let you know that over half the victims that call in are using these authenticator apps. And so they get into their email, then they figure out what apps they're using. They're going to test your Coinbase, your Exodus, whatever you're using. And if it says, enter your 6-digit authenticator app code, now they know they need to then figure out which authenticator app you're using. They're going to try and reset it. So what we do differently at Efani is it's very, very simple what we do. So we're set up as resellers of AT&T and Verizon. And so I use the AT&T network as an example. So we become your mobile service provider, as you already know. And so let's say you choose AT&T with Efani. So the differences between going directly to AT&T versus Efani is the following. So one is that we would lock out all the AT&T employees, their stores, third-party stores, independent retailers, and call centers from having any access to your account. And then we also don't give the carrier your personal information. And so what you look like to the carrier is an anonymous executive that works for a company that is listed as not as Efani, but as one of the names that we have. And so even to the carrier, they don't see Efani. And so there's privacy in that. And what that does is that even if you went into the store and you can try this on your own, is that you can go into the store and go in there with your driver's license, your passport, and hand them your phone and say, can you just tell me how much data I've used this month? And they're going to try and help you. And after 90 seconds, 2 minutes, they're going to say, look, we can't access your account. We don't know. You must know who you're supposed to call. And last time, and we always test this ourselves. So myself and Hasib, we drive by a store every couple of months. We'll go in there, and it's always the same, which is like the last person told me, well, you must be on your wife's corporate account then, so maybe you should ask your wife. And it's like, great, that's what we want. And what we're doing is we're eliminating all the people that can be bribed, social engineer, make an honest mistake, or be an insider, or be selling your information to an outside, dark web or a friend that is a hacker. So we're eliminating all of that. And then we become your customer support. And then we use what we call our 11 layers of verification. So anytime you're going to do any kind of risky transaction with your account, we're going to go through 11 layers of verification. And then we also allow people to add a custom step too. So it can be 12 steps. And that 12th step, you could say like, okay, I want to have a password, or I have this other email over here that I want you to, for me to be able to pour it out, I want you to have to email this email. And we even have one account. So we've got some celebrities in Hollywood and some professional athletes. We have an influencer out of Hollywood who's actually a celebrity. They all call themselves influencers now. She's got 12 people that surround her that work for her, and all 12 are using Efani. And if any one of them calls in and says they want to make a change on their account, that like moving to another phone or porting it out, is we have to actually go through her attorney. And so these are the kind of things that we're doing. And this is a very expensive way to operate. And it's one of the reasons why the carriers really, they've got too many holes in the process, for one, to be able to cover this. But what the carriers have done is they've done the math, and they've slid in arbitration clauses. So if you ever get SIM swap and you're on, even the big three, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're going to discover there's an arbitration clause in there, which means you have to get an arbitration attorney, and then you're going to have to go and barter. And so I talk to attorneys all the time. We have a number of them that are our customers, and I've been asked multiple times to be an expert witness as well. So I get all kinds of information about what they're dealing with. And the last attorney that had contacted me wanted me to be an expert witness for 8 cases that he had. And they're all with the same carrier. And he said that the judge had no idea what a SIM swap was, and that the carrier's defense was that every mobile operator gets SIM swapped, and therefore it's been normalized. And because it's been normalized, they should not be held accountable for it.
Holy cow. That is absurd.
Yeah. And so what's happening is the people, even when you win, they're basically negotiating to about 35% of your losses. So if you lost $300,000, you're going to end up negotiating to get 110,000, and you're going to have to pay your attorney fees out of that. And so the attorneys are winning. I would say it sounds like they're winning more than half the time. And and people also find out that, like, Coinbase or all of these popular wallets and exchanges, they all have a term in there that says that we insure your crypto for losses. But there's also another term that says unless it's the result of criminal activity. And so they're only insuring if it was like at fault of them, like inside of the their own software. But if it's a external party like your carrier getting hacked, then there's no insurance on it. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's like, unless the hacker does something incredibly stupid to get caught. But if they're good, they're going to transfer your Bitcoin to, a wallet that's not KYC'd. It's going to be an offshore wallet. They're going to send it through tumblers and, turn it into Monero, and, it's basically gone. And all the companies, used to be a number of companies that wanted to partner with us that were the, reclaim your crypto. We'll find your crypto. And they're all doing it for like no fee up front. We'll charge you, 25% for whatever we get returned. And my guess is that every single one of them is either like out of business, or they're now saying like, yeah, we'll do it, but you got to pay us, 10 grand up front as a retainer, because you can't get it back. And it's one of the reasons why the Efani insurance is, is key, because as part of our mobile service, we're providing the SIM swap security, we're providing privacy. But that $5 million insurance policy is that's where the peace of mind comes in. That's great. So if you get, if you had your Efani line SIM swap that results in any kind of financial loss, it doesn't matter whether it's your bank account or your crypto, or maybe it caused like your business issues, like somebody stole your Efani line, and then they use that to take down your GoDaddy web hosting account. Which, by the way, when I got SIM swapped, I was actually working on my own crypto startup. And when they SIM swapped me, they took down my website. They took me on my website because they got in my GoDaddy because I had the 2FA on it. And so that was another thing that, damaged me pretty hard. But One of the things that just keeps getting worse and worse, and why this, there's a couple of reasons why these SIM swaps keep growing is, I don't know if you followed the news on the Snowflake data breach, for example. But there's a billion records of our data that got stolen in the second quarter of this year. And the reason it's a billion is because you, me, and all these other people are in 1, 5, 7. I'm in 8 different data breaches over the last like 7 years. And so that means my information is, pretty much all over the place. So I have to, be very secure about everything that I do in my life, especially with my crypto. And so, a billion records. So there's this breach that happened with this company called Snowflake, and Advanced Auto Part lost millions and millions of records. Ticketmaster lost their customer records. AT&T lost records on 110 million customers in April this year. And State Farm, there's a couple different insurance companies, but State Farm lost a lot of their customer data. And the 110 million for AT&T was like that. They only have 110 million customers.
State Farm was just being a good neighbor. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Their neighbor asked for your data, and they gave it to them. And that big data breach actually happened in April, and they just announced it. And the reason they delayed it is because the federal government said, well, for the safety of the U.S. population, they didn't want to let people know that this gigantic data breach happened. Which it seems kind of odd. Of like, why? How does that keep us safe? Like not knowing that, you're an Advanced Auto Parts customer, and then you don't know that your Social Security, your email, all of that. And then a couple months ago, AT&T had 74 million records stolen, and they had to reset everybody's password.
Got tanked. Like, if you're one of those customers, how are you just not pissed off and like leave, right? And where do you go? Well, it would seem to me that probably Efani would be a good solution. So maybe this might be a good place just to reiterate that. I think even from 2 years ago, we've had a short URL to Efani.
Yep.
What's the URL?
Yeah,
Joel?
it's badco.in/Efani. And yes, it's a funny name, but it's spelled EFANI. Or you can go directly to efani.com/bad. And our friends over at Efani have put together a special offer for you, the citizens of the Republic of Bad Cryptopia. Mark, why don't you explain what the price is to be unswappable? I don't know if you guys use that as a marketing campaign though, but I see a superhero, like,
Yeah, we should copyright that word, unswappable.
Be unswappable.
Dude, I love what you just said though. It's like, it might be a funny name, but you'll make yourself unswappable.
You could make a parody song. What's that? I'm unstoppable. That's a song.
Yeah. I was just about ready to say that. Like, there's actually a couple songs that might fit in there. Like,
there you go.
Yeah,
courtesy of Bad Crypto. So how does it work?
Yeah. So our price, we have one plan right now. And that plan is $99 per month. And that's all taxes and all fees. That includes your mobile service. So for example, if you got AT&T with us, that includes the AT&T network, your voice, text, and data for US, Canada, and Mexico. Hotspot. Priority data speeds is 40 gigabits per month, and we are trying to negotiate and make that a better deal. But data is unlimited, but priority speed is 40 per month. And then we also enable Wi-Fi calling and Wi-Fi SMS globally. So if you're behind Wi-Fi anywhere in the world, Singapore, Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador, UK, doesn't matter. If you're behind Wi-Fi and somebody calls your Efani number, it's going to ring. Or somebody texts you, you're going to receive the text, and that's free. And then also, if you're behind Wi-Fi anywhere in the world, I can call to the US, I can text to the US, and it's free. And that's all part of the service. We also throw in international data roaming. So for no extra charge, if your phone is eSIM compatible. So again, if you fly to Bitcoin Beach or Thailand or UK, then you just let us know and say, hey, I'm on a business trip, or I'm on vacation for 3 weeks. and we're going to give you complimentary data so you can use your WhatsApp and your Telegram and your Signal apps, get your email and do all of that. Then you have the Wi-Fi calling and SMS. And so you get all that for no additional charge. That also includes the SIM swap security, the privacy benefits, and the $5 million insurance plan. We do have add-ons, like if you want the full cellular experience, like if you're on AT&T and you want to travel overseas and have full cellular text data, then we're just basically passing through what AT&T offers, and that's $10 per day or $100 per month. We also have plans for like tablets, data plans for like tablets and PCs, security devices, and then we can do like watches, like iWatches. And then in terms of what your viewers would get when they go to your landing page at Efani, so we love supporting channels out there that are educating people on how to invest, why to invest in crypto, how to keep it secure. And so through you guys, we're offering a $99 discount. And so if you were to go to that landing page and you go to purchase our Efani Safe Plan, we call it the Safe Plan, your promo code is going to be auto-applied. And if you choose the monthly option, then your second month will be free. And if you choose the annual option, then the $99 is taken right off the top. So we're $99 a month, or it's $999 per year. So you save almost 2 months of billing if you go with the annual. And you can also start out monthly. And then, once you're comfortable with this, you can upgrade to annual as well.
The code also, is bad, right? That's what
bad.
They put in the code. Bad. Dudes and dudettes out there, there is no reason to not do this. I've been on the service for years. I just got back from an international trip. Service was great everywhere I went. And yes, it costs more than your current service. But if you've got crypto, if you want to keep your stuff secure, there's just no excuse to not do this. You are vulnerable, and it is time to not be vulnerable. Oh, Travis wrote the song. You got the song, Trav?
Yeah, I got the song. Let me make sure that I'm sharing correctly here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to share the sound. There we go.
Yeah. You want to play it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it now. It's because it'd be fun to get his reaction, because all right,
let's listen in.
Different versions. I made a hip hop version, which wasn't bad, but this one is blues. This one kind of sounds to me like a little Sturgill Simpson, so I kind of like that. So here we go.
Well, hacker took my SIM card, logged in and ran away. My crypto and my bank all gone in just one day. My socials on a rampage, nothing left to say. They swapped it on T-Mobile, turned my life to gray. SIM card blues in my heart fell apart from the start, but Efani came to play, saved my day, washed the gray.
Yeah.
My stocks were in the red, couldn't feel my own head, but Efani stepped right in, let the new day begin. No more hacking fears.
Woo!
Safeguard all my tears. With peace now restored, a new life to be explored. SIM card blues in my heart fell apart from the start, but Efani came to play, saved my day, washed the gray.
Guitar solo.
That's right. So go on to badco.in/Efani and get yourself a good discount and get yourself unswappable.
My stocks were in the red, couldn't feel my own head, but Efani stepped right in.
You may need to make a commercial out of this.
Day begin.
That's great. We'll replay the whole song at the end of the show, guys. It's the Easter egg you'll find at the back of this podcast. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, have the credits rolling up, and just that should be the song for the credits.
So good, so good.
Oh my goodness.
Mark, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the special offer for our listeners and viewers. Anything else you would like to let people know before we say adios?
Yeah, anybody out there who is comfortable enough to put their crypto away on cold storage, hardware wallet, you definitely got to do it. It's no excuses at this point. I know some people are afraid that, hey, if I move my crypto onto one of these devices, like, and you're not technical enough to get it back. But I think it's time. People try and learn, and there's people out there that will help you. Of course, you don't want to give them the keys to your crypto, but you definitely want to stay safe and secure. And it's not just about your crypto. It's your iCloud, your I love iPhones, but all this iCloud syncing and Find My iPhone, all those kind of apps, they're fun, they're handy, but they can be used against you. And just be careful about AirDrop settings and Bluetooth and whatever email you use to set up your phone with. Just or let's say whatever email you use to log into your crypto accounts, that should be only for that, and don't use that to like sign up for websites and and use that for your bank account. You set your phone up with it because you're setting up bowling pins for these hackers, and they're going to take advantage. It's really just a matter of like when it happens to all of us. It's not a question of if. The only, I think, silver lining in these data breaches that they're so massive that now the list of potential victims is huge, and there's only so many SIM swappers out there. But got to stay safe and secure. We'd love to have any of you join our secure mobile community as well.
So what'd you guys think there of the song too? Besides, what did you think of the interview? It's important stuff.
I thought it was pretty good. No, I mean it's a fascinating thing. It's something that's needed because it's so crazy how nefarious people can be and how simply they can get into your phone and switch it. Like it happened to me, so I know it can happen. It's not hard to do, and if they don't get the first time, if they try to go to your phone company to your store and try to do it and that didn't work, well, guess what? They're just going to go to the next one. They will spend a day in some cases trying to get your account switched over so they can have access to it. So that's why you got to have two-factor authentication at a bare minimum. You need to probably put that on a different device, not your main phone, probably, and just protect yourself as much as possible. This is just another way you can protect yourself, and we highly recommend it.
Efani.com, EFANI.com/bad or badco.in/Efani. It will automatically embed the discount link just for you guys in there, and just go make the switch. It's so easy. It's so seamless, and you will rest easy knowing that
gives you a month free, I think. No, wait, isn't that it? $99?
Yeah, there's two different. It's a month free, or there's a discount if there's two plans on there, and either way the code is applied depending which way that you want to go with it. And that is an affiliate link. So like anytime that we have a product with an affiliate link, that means if you purchase it, you're supporting this show. So we get you a discount, and then if you buy, we get a little kickback from Efani, but we wouldn't be sharing it if we didn't believe in the product and are using it ourselves as we are. So there you go.
And literally, we haven't promoted it. You've been using it for like 2 years, and he's like, okay, I guess this is pretty good.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about this. This is important stuff.
Yeah.
So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Go take action on it, and we'll catch you soon. It's going to happen because we'll be back next week with another episode. All right. All right then. Stay back.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.